Hello friends, it's Mallory with Made by Manny and Mal. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for watching this video. In today's tutorial, we're going to be making a coffee mug, but we're going to keep it a little bit edgy, but also really sparkly, of course. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for new videos every Tuesday and Saturday. I've got a bunch of links in the description box below, so make sure you check that out at some time also. I think that's all. Let's go! For this design, we're using a 10-ounce coffee mug from the Stainless Steel Depot. I've already prepped it using my final sand, just scuffed it up and then washed it with Dawn dish soap and water. Once it's dry, we're ready to paint. I'm using metallic gold, gloss black, and matte white, all from Rustoleum. When I painted, I just did a few random splotches of each color. I didn't do any sort of pattern. There was no real plan when I went into paint. Just wanted different splatters mixed up on the cup. Once our paint dried, I applied 1 milliliter of epoxy to the cup, and now we're ready to glitter it. The first color I'm going in with is Chunky Pear-Bataille. It is a chunky white custom mix from Peachy Olive Glitters, and I'm going really light over those white spots. And then I'm going to go in with regular Pear-Bataille and go over those same white spots again. Sorry about the focusing in this glittering portion. My camera wanted to focus on the glitter versus the mug, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Next, I'm going in with Apparition from PDB Creative Studio, and I'm going over all of those black sections. Apparition is literally beautiful. It's like this holographic black silver gunmetal color, and it just looks great over black, over silver. Definitely a great color to have in your arsenal. After that, I'm going to take Caviar from Peachy Olive Glitters and go over those black sections again. Caviar is a little bit of a dimensional black, not holographic, but still has some color variation in there. Next, I am taking Athena and putting that over the gold sections. Athena is our final chunky cut glitter, so once we've got this down, we'll move on to the finer cuts of each color. And the way we're glittering this is really not any pattern, or we're not trying to really blend these colors together. We just want to get a really good kind of variation in the colors around the cup. And then when we go in with our paint splatter method later, we're just going to see bits and pieces of each color poking out. So don't worry about getting a perfect blend or, really doing anything super pretty with this glittering, because you're not going to see a lot of it towards the end. So now going in with our finer cuts, I took Batman, which is a fine black. Next, I'm taking Goldmember, which is our fine gold. And then I'm going to take Flurries from Peachy Olive Glitters and just go over each section with its respective color. So for Flurries, I just dumped a whole bottle of it on there. Whoopsie. Be very careful when you're doing your glitter. I just lost a lot of flurries. And if you can see on my parchment paper, I've got a little dump bucket going of my neutral colors. So I'll be using that on some cup, some design at some point. I let this glitter dry, and then I did 2 coats of epoxy. I used the fast setting epoxy from CCDIY. After our 2 coats of epoxy cured, I went in and did some sanding. I didn't do super crazy sanding like to get it to perfection, just wanted it smooth enough for like decal application. So here's what our cup looks like so far. And the main decal that we're going to be using on this cup has some leopard print detailing in the background of the image, so I wanted to add a little bit more leopard to tie everything together. I cut this circle out of this leopard print pattern vinyl on my silhouette. For this 10-ounce Hogg mug, I cut the circle at 2.3 inches in diameter. For the strip that we're going to apply to the handle, I cut that at 3/4 of an inch wide, so 0.75 inches. And I think I cut it at like 8 inches long. Obviously didn't need all of that. I just cut off the excess. Wanted to make sure I had enough, of course. This little strip we're just applying as normal, like a sticker, just making sure it's really straight, as centered in the handle as we can make it. And then I'm going to take my craft knife and just cut off the excess up at the top of the handle. So here's what this looks like so far. I think even without our main decal, this looks really cute. Adding patterned vinyl to the bottom and handle of mugs is a really fun way to add a little extra zest to your designs. So I coated this with 1 coat of epoxy. I used CCDIY Fast Set again, and now I'm going to take some white spray paint and spray one main part of our mug on whatever side you want the decal to go on. And then I'm going to spray a few little random light kind of half sprays to get a little white paint mist around the cup. Once that was dry, I put a coat of epoxy on. I'm still using CCDIY Fast Set, And what I'm going to do next is take some Armor Art, this white Easy Flow Armor Art, and squirt a couple drops into my epoxy. And then I'm going to do kind of like the Milky Way technique. I'm going to just lace a few of these white stripes across the mug. We're not doing a lot here. We really want to keep these very simple. This is just going to kind of tie the paint and white into the design a little bit more. So I'm adding just these diagonal stripes, really not going heavy here. There were a couple places I added a little bit too much. I just took my little metal stick and, as you can see, just kind of zigzagged it around to disperse that color just a little bit more and make it all flow together a little bit more seamlessly. Once we've got all the color on there, I'm going to take my heat gun and just kind of use this to disperse that color even more, kind of fade it out a little bit and make it not so stripy. I don't want those diagonal stripes to really be so prominent. I just want to have kind of white clouds around the glitter. Once I've done that, I'm going to take Basic White Girl and just sprinkle a few pinches on the random areas of the cup. I kind of went all over the whole cup. I wanted to add a top layer of additional sparkle over those white diagonal lines to really tie everything together. So once I had that on there, I let this sit and cure about 6 hours, and then it will be ready for our water slide. I got the image that we're going to use for our water slide from Etsy. It's this Death Before Decaf skeleton. I printed it out on my water slide paper. This is clear water slide, and then I sealed it with 3 coats of Rustoleum clear gloss spray paint. I let it dry about 20 minutes in between each coat, and then I cut it out so we got rid of any of those edges that had been sealed by the paint. I have a detailed video on applying water slide that I will link somewhere on the screen. Once that's cut out, I put it into my bowl of room temperature water, and now we've got our cup ready. We have that big white spot that we painted on the cup, and that's where our clear water slide is going to go. So I just propped it up with a little bottle of paint, and I'm going to take a wet paper towel and get the surface of my cup wet to help us position the water slide where we want it to go. I let my water slide sit in the water about 2 minutes, and once it slides off the backing pretty easily, I know it's ready to apply. So I'm just getting it ready to move, and then swoop, and just apply it to the cup easy. Smaller water slides are super easy to apply, especially onto a white background. Once I have the backing off, I'm going to take my wet paper towel again and just smooth out any air bubbles, make sure that we don't have any water pockets or anything in there. You can also use a silicone makeup brush. If you have one of those, you can use one of those as well. I just like to use the paper towel. It's easier, whatever you prefer though. Once I've got this positioned, I'm gonna just make sure, take my dry paper towel, press out any excess water, and then I'm going to let this sit overnight and make sure it's totally dry before I go in with my final coats of epoxy. I'm doing 1 final coat of epoxy. This water slide isn't raised up over the cup or anything, so 1 final coat was fine. I used regular artist resin from CC DIY, let that cure, and we were all done. I absolutely love how this turned out. I love the leopard print detailing on the water slide, tied in with the leopard print on the handle and the bottom. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and this design as well. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel for new videos every Tuesday and Saturday. Follow us on Instagram, join our Facebook group, all of that fun stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye! At some time? What did I say?
Absolutely. A bunch of links below. Please check those out at some time. Okay?
Yeah, at some time in the video. Check out the box. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.